Okay, I'm today is Tuesday, October 29th, 2024, and I'm talking with my client, Mike Robinson. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, David.
We've been working together on your health and longevity for more than a month now, might be about 6 weeks almost.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you just a few questions. First of all, what prompted you when I told you about this? It's kind of rang a bell with you, and you said, "Oh, okay, I want to know about that." And we started working together. What was it about longevity and coaching that you wanted to reach out and do that?
Well, David, I'm at the stage of life where, people that I grew up with are passing away. I lost my father a few weeks ago, unfortunately, and um, I was aware that he got to a good age, but maybe about 3 years ago or so, he um, stopped walking as much as he used to walk, and he was starting to use a stick. And it was clear that things were declining for him uh, personally. And then eventually, he fell and broke his hip, and then spent a year requiring care. And really, I decided that this was not, if I could possibly do anything to avoid that, because it is not a pleasant experience, even at the end of life, when you expect to require assistance and care and so on. It's never a pleasant thing to have strangers coming into the house in order to clean you up and do these kinds of things. So that was the main motivation. I figured that if there's anything that I can do to prevent, or at least to maximize the amount of time where I don't need that kind of care, particularly in a world where social care is becoming problematic, and I don't see that situation improving over the next 20 or 30 years.
In fact, I think you told me your father had a very difficult time getting hospital care.
Well, it wasn't that he had a difficult time getting hospital care, but the National Health Service in the UK definitely tried to. This is not fair. They certainly they didn't do everything that they could have done to help. Let's put it this way. So what had happened was that he had fallen ill. He had been taken into hospital. They sent him home, saying that he had COVID when he didn't have COVID. He then fell, broke his hip. He went straight back into the same hospital that he had just been sent home from. This is all happening on the same day.
Oh,
And then they told him that they couldn't fix him, so they had to send him 50 miles away to a different hospital where he had to spend the time while they fixed his hip. They then sent him to a sort of halfway house, sort of care home. It's not a care home, but it had sort of hospital type care, where they give him a hospital acquired infection. He ended
ah,
up in antibiotics. He got sent home again. And then over the course of about a year, he just was constantly in this cycle of new infection, back into hospital,
ah.
sent back home again, new infection, back into hospital. Eventually, it got to the point where the ambulance was called once again, and the ambulance team said, "Look, we're not taking him into hospital. We can help you put him to bed." And that's basically it. But that was a year of life, of the final year of his life, where he basically had no independence.
No control.
Mum had no independence because she had to be there with him. He couldn't move. He wasn't. He
Yeah,
was completely relying on people to
yeah.
lift him and carry him. And if there's anything that we can do for ourselves to make sure we don't get ourselves in that position, then it seems sensible to me that we take that. Well, I had this conversation with you, and you said, "Well, you need to start now," and so that's where we are.
Yeah, in fact, you were an athlete until some age.
I was. I mean, uh, saying I'm an athlete implies almost, that I was taking part in organized sport. Not in that sense. I certainly did a lot of cycling when I was in
Uh-huh.
my 20s and my 30s. And really, it was when I left Northern Ireland in the first place, and started traveling around the world and working from place to place, various jobs and working in different countries, and that sort of fell away, and I never really got that back until I've decided to take this step. And I absolutely want to be much more active. I mean, I spend a lot of time in front of computer screens, 12, 14 hours a day in front of computer screens. This is not healthy. I appreciate this is not healthy, and this is not going to end well for me if I keep doing that. So I know I had to make that. I've known for a while I needed to make that change, and you just came around at the right time with and offering the right kind of advice and the right kind of incentive for me to get off my backside and get active again, because this is something I always loved. And
Right.
yeah, so
Right.
I am getting involved in that again. So
Now you've got a new gravel bike and you're riding?
it's not a gravel bike.
Oh,
It's a sort of hybrid. I yes, I mean yes,
a
it
new
is
bike.
heading in that direction. It's straight handlebars rather than drop bars, and certainly no problem taking it off road on gravel. But I would call it more of a hybrid
But now
because
you're riding again and you really
yes,
hadn't for a decade or more, maybe.
I would say yeah, probably 15 years at least. Anyway, yes, yes.
But that's fun for you.
I am loving it.
Yeah,
Yes,
right. Okay.
right. Yeah.
So
I'm
that's a
not loving the weather so much, but I'm loving it. Loving it.
but that's a kind of an immediate change. I want to ask you, Mike, how do you see the difference between what I'm doing with you for longevity versus what a lot of people do? They go to the gym and they kind of make some weights go up and down and they do a little jogging. They don't really know what they're doing, a lot of people. And how do you see the program that I'm putting you through and contrast that?
So what you're making me do is think about the age that I am and be realistic about the age that I am now. I did a lot of cycling when I was young. I also rode motorcycles when I was young. I am the type of person that doesn't do halfway. So I'm either absolutely full on, throttle full open, or not at all, right? And so one of the things that you have very much encouraged me to think about is that I'm not 20 or 30 anymore. I'm
Right.
55, and therefore just opening the throttle full bore and going for it may not be the sensible thing to do. And you're making me think about injury and making sure that I'm not getting injured and making sure, because that of course doesn't help this process.
Right.
And so so I'm being a bit more sensible about these kinds of things. And but frankly, I have to say the process of thinking in those terms actually isn't any what I'm doing isn't any easier than just having the throttle wide open. It's not
Right.
easier,
No.
because lift if I'm lifting weights and I'm doing it in a careful
Slow.
slow way, actually doesn't hurt any less.
It's
It's just not
hard.
going to result in an injury, but it doesn't actually hurt any less
That's
at the
right.
end of the
That's
day.
right.
So this is good.
So you've got a gym membership now,
I do.
and you'll be going over the winter a couple times a week.
Yes.
Great. We've got some things to do in the gym. And then tell me about your home setup.
So I bought some on the. I bought some weights that you showed
Let's
me
see.
once with it.
Let's see.
Okay, so
Sure. Because I want nobody has a huge apartment. Let's just see what we can do with a small amount of space.
we bought these first of all, and what we have there I think is 4.5 kilos. But of course you can adjust the so on the weights
Right.
here we've got a dial. We can adjust the dial, and when you adjust the dial, it lifts or releases more of these weights, and so
Right.
you can adjust that between 2, 4.5, 7, 9.5, and 12 kilos.
12 kilos, right?
Right. So that's one thing that we've got. We've also got uh, the step.
Right. Everybody has to have a step. Right.
Right. So we have the step, and that helps me with the step ups and the step downs, and you showed me this exercise where you're basically slowly lowering yourself down from the
Yeah.
step and
Yeah.
touching the floor, and then raising yourself back up again, and it looked really easy. And I discovered very quickly that it's not easy at all. That first of all, one of the things about longevity is balance. So it's doing a lot to manage my balance. And the other thing is that actually just slowly lowering yourself down, even though it's not very high. It's only at the moment it's only 6 inches or
Yeah.
7 inches, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just slowly lowering yourself down and raising back up again, and just repeating that is actually pretty hard after a couple of minutes. So that's easy. It's easy and convenient to do in the home, but
Right.
it's
Right.
actually very very hard after a
And
little
you're
while.
doing some stretching.
And we're doing the stretching, yes, as well. And the stretching, of course, is all about trying to get the back of your heel and your backside as close as
Right.
possible together, and that's not so easy either. So it has been an education in just re-evaluating what it is to exercise, actually, and realizing you don't have to be stressing your joints in order to actually help build muscle, and build muscle in the sense of longevity and strength, rather than building the look. The look isn't what I'm
Right.
aiming for here. I'm aiming
That's right.
for
That's right.
for maintaining a level of strength into my old age.
And you can tell we're building a platform here. We're going super slowly, building all these basic skills, but you can also tell that it goes up and up and up and up. And a year from now, you'll be stronger, you'll have more muscle, right? And you'll be doing next level things without getting injured.
Right.
As long as you don't fall off your bike, I think that, this kind of, slow progression, and you'll be working not only to build muscle, but to build your endurance and your VO2 max. And so we have a lot to do. There's no magic quick. It's not a 6-week program. It's a 6-year program, really. Right.
So I absolutely recognize that. I'm not expecting any magical sort of cures here. This is a long-term thing, and I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to underdo it either.
Right.
Right.
Because consistency.
It works both ways. Yes.
Right. Great. And now my last question is, how do you think you'll know? Because we don't get to come back in 25 or 30 years and see if you survived. That's not our end. That's not our, how we're going to measure success. How will you measure success at, say, 6 months and 12 months from now?
I don't know the answer to that. What I would say is I'm already considering this a success, in the sense that because of work commitments and so on, I have not been doing this stuff, and this is it's already a success, because I'm breathing fresh air and doing things, just being active in ways that I have not been. Right. So I would view this as a success at the end of the day, if I do actually succeed in getting to the end of my life without needing social care. But that hopefully is still 30 years away.
Right.
Right. But in the meantime, I think that success is just enjoying the fact that I'm active again and the oxygen is being pumped around my body in the way that it should be, and you know, and I'm out on the bike or whatever I happen to be wanting to do. So you know, I fully recognize that my life has not been balanced and I've been focused on work and that's all I've been focused on. And now I'm just hopefully gonna, I'll view it as a success if in a year or in 5 years I have a better work-life balance, as they say, you know.
And you already have more energy, no?
Yeah, I would say so.
So
Yes,
you'll get more energy.
that
You
that's
will
what I hope.
you will have more balance. You'll have more natural protection reactions, right? And a year from now, you'll be have a little less fat and a little more muscle. And you'll notice that in the mirror.
We can hope.
You will. No, I mean that's how you take a picture in the mirror now and take a picture in the mirror a year from now, and you'll say, "Wow, I like that better." And 2 years from now,
Yes,
even more, because
yes,
next 6, 8 months from now is when we really start off the platform, seriously building more muscle. So these changes are going to be very physical and you're not going to need a scale or some calipers to tell whether it's
right,
working, right?
right.
It's going to be very real. So, and would you recommend this for who would you think that would benefit this most from this?
Everyone. I mean, honestly, everyone, because you know, let's be realistic about this. We are in the unfortunate situation that the healthcare system is not going to improve anytime soon. We've got to take our own lives into our own hands and be responsible for what happens to us. And you know, I just feel that I know what I don't want, right? And you know, as much as what happened to my father was tragic in the last year of his life, there are other people out there that's 10 years of their lives, and he had a good life, and he lived until he was 83, and it was only in the final year that he had real problems. But other people have real problems for 10, 15 years. This is horrendous, and who would want this for themselves? So you know, it is our decision as individuals to take this responsibility for ourselves, and it's not just for ourselves; it's also for our families, because it's
Right,
horrible for our families if we need this kind of care, because they are all involved
right,
in that support.
right.
So you know, I strongly feel that this is my duty to my wife and my kids, that I do not end up needing them to be, you know, changing their lives in order to accommodate my frailness. So I'm going to do everything that I can to avoid that.
In addition to avoiding a negative, even if you had a good healthcare system, just in a fictional world, you'd feel better. You'd be stronger. You'd be
Oh,
out.
100%.
You'd be more active. You'd have more energy.
100%.
Right? Like,
100%. I mean,
why would you
yeah,
not want that?
that's absolutely right. Who wouldn't want that?
The trade is good. It's a good trade, right? You're trading time and effort for all kinds of benefits for many, many years,
Yes,
right?
100%.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. One final thing, your daughter is a climbing gym instructor. Is that right?
That's right.
Guess what's great for grip strength, Mike?
Climbing is great for grip strength.
I'm looking forward to seeing videos and photos of you on the wall. It's going to
Okay.
be part of the program.
Yeah.
Hey, old people can climb too.
So how long the hanging from the dead hang from a
Dead
from
hang.
a
Mhm.
how long can you do?
A minute and 20 seconds now.
Right, that's very good. So she's over 2 minutes.
Oh, well,
Uh,
she's a,
yes, I know she's 18.
superstar.
We've got to keep that in perspective. Yes, I know that. I don't think I could do 30 seconds
That's
at
great.
this
You're going to
stage.
be at a minute. We're going to get you to a minute. You don't need to be more than a minute, but I want every one of my clients to dead hang for 1 minute. And if it takes 6 to 12 months, that's fine. You don't have to. There's no need to. We're not in a big rush. We're just building incrementally.
Right.
Right. All these things, farmer carry, deadlifts. We're going to get into more difficult territory. And then after we've built some muscle, we'll go start building some other muscles that we haven't even looked at yet. And all of this will take years. It'll be very slow. And you're increasing you get enough protein, actually. I think a lot of people don't. But you will notice the difference over the coming years. 3, 4, 5 years from now, you will be quite a bit stronger than you are right now.
Right.
That's the goal. That's the product I'm selling.
And this is good.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, David.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll stop that recording. Very good.